Rightio, welcome to Riverside here. I was actually down there, D, and I saw a couple there on their wedding day here on a Monday. So I hear it's good luck to get married on a Monday. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that, no.
Yeah.
But
It's good to know anyway.
I don't have to think about marriage for a while anyway.
No,
I think you, on the other hand, you need to start thinking about all these things.
Well, sure, look, we'll hurl the puck out as it comes anyway. Now, Dee, there's something we need to, before we get into intermediate hurling match action, we just want to discuss something that came up at a Junior A hurling match. So, one of our club correspondents let us know that the lad was sent off for, and it was a black card that he got in the Junior A hurling game there. What do you make of that?
So look, obviously the rule is not in for club hurling, but I suppose when a lad gets pulled down, there does be a few shouts for a black card from supporters. Some supporters don't realise that the black card rule isn't in club hurling, but obviously this referee didn't understand that it wasn't in club hurling either.
Yeah.
So look, if it happened in my match or any match I was involved in, you'd be very angry because you're down a man for 10 minutes and the other team get a penalty. So look, I think the county board are going to have to look at something there so that doesn't happen again.
It'd be good to remind our clubs, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm sure measures will be made alright to make sure something like that doesn't happen again. But just in general, would you say there's more cynical fouling in hurling at the moment? Would you see it a bit?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Do you think a black card solves cynical fouling?
I don't know, there has to be some rule I think enforced with the club championship, but a black card in club hurling, like in club hurling it's very difficult when it's 15 versus 14. It completely changes the game, so maybe that mightn't be a way to go. But look, something has to be done. I said here on week 1 that it was nothing but cynical fouling and it has continued on, so look, hopefully the county board might have a look and see if they can come up with some rule to stop the cynical fouls, because it is becoming a bit of a blight. You know, everyone wants to see goals in hurling matches and the cynical fouling stops that, so
Yeah.
something to be looked at anyway.
Absolutely, rightio. Well, we'll start with having a look at the Group A of the Courtyard Ferns Intermediate Hurling Championship. So at the top of the group there are Tara Rocks and Timon, both on 6 points, and then St James's with 4 points, Askamore with 2, and no points for Halfway House, Buncrody or Adamstown. So we had Tara Rocks defeated Adamstown 118 to 18 points. At half time, Tara Rocks led by 12 points to 10. Now, I don't have much word from either camp, but it'll make you wonder. Like, I'd say Tara Rocks are probably safe. Maybe they were trying new lads out. I'm only inferring from the result.
Yeah, look, I didn't see the game now, but Tara Rocks are obviously through now on 6 points. I don't think anyone can catch them. But look, maybe it shows Adamstown are progressing, you know, coming back with 2 defeats, and now they ran Tara Rocks only beaten by a goal. They might be improving week on week, and as I said earlier, they might be only finding their rhythm now and getting going. So look, Adamstown have 2 games remaining and they're going to go hell for leather to get out of that last spot and hopefully progress to a quarter final.
Absolutely, yeah. So Tara Rocks now play Timon in the top of the table clash, and then Adamstown play Buncrody in the bottom of the table clash. So it'll be interesting to see. Now, looking at actually Buncrody's game there, Buncrody lost to St James's 4-14 to 117. Buncrody were out Porrick Nolan owing to injury, and then Shane Murphy for the Jimmy scored 3 goals in the space of 5 minutes in the first half. Middle of the field was bossed by Colin Fitzgerald and Mark Whitty, and they had a strong half back line. Darry Glynn, the fella from Athenry who's come down to join them there in Ramsgrange, he got his first point of the championship. There was a strong wind in the first half, so that helped the Jimmies into an 11-point lead at half time, and it stemmed the fight back from Buncrody in the second half. Tommy Byrne for the Jimmies scored 1-2 with a dog a goal, and 2 wins out of 3 now puts the Jameses in a good position to qualify.
Yeah, look, the Jameses are in a good position. They're on 4 points. Other years you'd be saying 4 points might get you there, but I remember last year Clabon, I'm nearly sure, had 4 points at this stage, and they lost their last 2 matches and ended up being relegated out of senior hurling. So you know, you still, just because you get to 4 points, you still have to batten down the hatches, and you still have to keep hurling every ball and hopefully get another win or a draw, and then you're definitely safe. I think once you get over the 4 points mark, you want to get over that, not on it, to make sure that you're safe. And look, I'm sure now James's will have Askamore next weekend. Looking at that, James's and Askamore, it's kind of 3rd v 4th, so that might solve who's going to finish where in that group, and the two teams will be going hell for leather because there's still a chance that Halfway House Bunclody or Adamstown could catch them.
True. Now, third game in this group then was between Timon and Askamore, with Timon edging the difference there, 317 to 122. So it was end-to-end game with both sets of forwards linking up play well. Both teams were on top at different times, and it was right in the balance right up till the end. So there were Ian Carty was missing for Timon, while PJ Nolan was missing for Askamore. And it's apparently word on the street is that PJ Nolan is out for the year. Timon decided to their manager Brian Digman moved Conor Murphy, who's been hurling at wing back in midfield for Wexford's under-20s, into the forwards, and that resulted in him scoring 2 goals in each of his last 2 games. He got 2-2. The impressive Stephen O'Gorman got 1-2, and Cathal Doyle, despite a good performance by his marker Sean Buckley, got 13 points with 4 from play. For Askamore, Shane Tompkins, Tucker Kinsella and Podge and James Byrne were very good up front, while Sean Kerwin did well in the midfield. The 1-point win, which is Timon's 3rd win by that margin this year, sees them qualified with 2 games to spare, while Askamore have 2 more games to join them in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, look, Timon, they're making every game into a dogfight. It seems winning by 1 point every week so far, but look, they won't mind winning by 1 point as long as they're winning. They have 6 points now. They've won all 3 games, and they'll be pushing on, hoping to get top spot in that group. Hoping that they can get 4th place in the other group. Maybe it's a handier quarter final for them. But look, the group is shaping up nice now. Timon, Tower Rocks sitting on the same points. They'll be going hell for leather next weekend at each other to see who can gain that top spot. And look, at the start I said Timon impressed me last year. They're continuing to impress, unbeaten so far this year. So look, if they just keep striving and keep pushing on what they're doing and trust the process, I'm sure they'll be thereabouts at the end of the season.
Yeah.
Right, Michael, we'll go for our predictions.
Yes, indeed.
For Group A this week, you have Timon Camross versus Tara Rocks.
Okay, I'm going for Timon. Tara Rocks are very promising, but I that 1 goal margin against Adamstown is a bit of a funny one. So
yes, I'm going to go with Timon also, and I'm going to say Timon might win by 1 point.
Okay, right, yeah.
They're on that train now, 1 point win, so why not? Why not back them for another 1 point win?
Why not?
Next game, Halfway House Bunclody and Adamstown.
I guess in Adamstown here.
I'm going to go Bunclody. I just think Bunclody might edge out this one. There will be very little in it, but I think Bunclody might just edge it out.
Yeah.
And then you have St James's versus Askamore.
St James's and Askamore. I think I'll go for Askamore there.
I'm going to go against you again. I'm going to go for St James's. Look, there's just a few players out missing now for Askamore. Their forwards are excellent, but I'm just going to go for St James's this week.
Very good. Right, so Group B of the Courtyard Ferns Intermediate Hurling Championship. Well, Cavan reasserted their place at the top, 6 points now they have, and Buffers Alley and Blackwater trailing behind them with 4 of each, and then Feathered and Gustaman have 2 each, and Horswood no points yet. This was a big weekend for this group, if you ask me, Diarmuid. We've the win for Cavan, we've Blackwater, and the way they now have two wins out of 3 early on in the season. That's a good start for Blackwater. They're delighted with themselves, and Feathered getting on the scoreboard as well on the points with after 2 disappointing losses. So let's start with. We'll start from the bottom down, and we'll look at Cavan and Buffers Alley. Talking points. There's always a talking point when the Alley are involved. After 20 minutes, Diarmuid, Buffers Alley were surprised to learn at the decision that their centre back John Joe Farrell was sent off for a straight red card. They were very surprised at that. So when they were down to 40 men, then Buffers Alley, well, there were also some other learnings that they had from the game. We get very detailed reports on the Alley, and they didn't really use the sweeper to their advantage. They had inconsistent free taking. They had a tricky wind that influenced their wide count, but they'll be glad that it won't count for much with the loss, and they're grateful they have no injuries at the moment. because at the moment, like, the Alley are going into a busy time. Their under 21s are out this Wednesday night. 8 starters, as we said last week, are on their starting 15, and some of their under 20, some of their forwards are actually quite good, even though the only ones that scored from play were Shamie O'Hagan, Shane Granels and Willie Dorn, each with a point, and Conor Walsh, Ross O'Donoghue and Shamie O'Hagan also showed some promise. So it seems like the bike could have gone out of the game after that sending off, but what do you make of that?
Yeah, look, just looking in at it, you need more than 3 forwards scoring from play, really. That might affect them. Look, 8 starters in an under 21 team, they would have played 3 times in 2 weeks now. They're going to be tired. They're playing again this week during the week, I'm nearly sure, and I just don't know if it's a great time to be running off an under 21 championship when there's so much lads involved with their adult teams. I know 2 promising young hurlers who got injured last week, one of them being from your own club, I hear, ended up with a serious injury in an under 21 match, and he could be out for the year now. Another one from Ferns, Byrne Dunbar, he injured his shoulder and he wasn't playing against us on Friday night because of it. So, like, I don't know, like, we seem to be harping on about player welfare the whole time, and then yet contradicting ourselves by running off an under 21 championship in the middle of championship. I think there's another match this week, and then the semi-finals ain't going to be played until after the senior hurling championship. So I think we're just rushing everything. It comes back, we're rushing the senior hurling championship, we're rushing under 21 championship. Like, that under 21 championship is going to be a 2-part championship. It's going to be like how our senior championship used to be. It's going to be 2 games now, and then you're not going to be hurling with the same lads for a couple of months. So, like, that had an effect on the Alley, I feel, anyway. And look, something needs to be done there, I think, in order to promote player welfare, not bring player welfare down. Yeah, it'll be interesting anyway. And just on this as well, I know we didn't get it before we went on air, we didn't get much of a report from Gone, but I think they were missing a few in advance of this clash. I actually couldn't make the game now, unfortunately. I got held up, but I heard during the week Conal Flood was injured and he wasn't starting, and of course Bob Whittywood is injured. He done his knee earlier on in the championship, so he's out as well. Conal Flood, I just heard he was injured. I don't know what's wrong with him. I think he might have a tight hamstring or something. That's just through third party now.
Yeah,
so, like,
but it's a good sign if they were able to get that win. And yeah,
look, I said before, Clabon are impressive, and they're still impressing every week. Look, 3 wins now. They're going to be thereabouts as well. They're hurling great stuff, it seems, at the moment, and look, they're top of the group now, I'm nearly sure, so they just need to keep ticking over. Yeah.
So Buffers Alley have Gusser on next, so they'll be looking to get the win there, but Blackwater are the next opposition facing Clabon. Now, Blackwater really interesting. I think that now they've got 2 wins on the board. This is apparently, from our Blackwater correspondent, this would be a rare one for them to be going into the championship at this early stage with 2 wins under their belt. So they enjoyed a 1-point victory over Horswood, 18 points to 17. So this is a stop-start game on a wet day with both teams a bit reliant on their free takers. It was nip and tuck for the first half. They got some scores from play as Mossy Murphy and Connor Sutton were dangerous in attack. Horswood kept in touch thanks to Connor Foley and Declan Murphy. Declan's in-rushing attacks created problems for the Blackwater defence. Blackwater got a great goal chance after 7 minutes thanks to Declan Redmond, but it just blazed wide. And around 25 minutes were on the clock when Horswood enjoyed a deserving 7-4 lead. But Blackwater recovered at half-time as half-time approached, and that gave the Blackwater men a 1-point lead at the break. Within a few minutes of the resumption, Blackwater went down to 14 men, but that only served to galvanise the men of Blackwater. Connor Foley still working hard as a third midfielder for the Horswood folk, and Mossy Murphy was playing well. He won a penalty and it blazed over, and he scored 3 points from play in all. Now Connor Foley's free at the end, as they were trailing by 2 points, was saved by the keeper. It went over, and that resulted in a point instead of a goal, obviously, and so Blackwater enjoyed a 1-point victory over Horswood.
Yeah, look, Blackwater seem to be really kicking on now. Mossy Murphy, he's very quick, very agile. He's a great attacking threat there. loves run. His first thought when he gets the ball is just head straight for the goal. Connor Sutton, another dangerous forward, as was mentioned in the report. Look, he's slim, he's light, but he's well able to do a jink now and then, get by his defender. He draws a lot of frees for Blackwater. He's a good hurler, and then they seem to have a great defence as well. You know, Darren Byrne's there, Don Redmond is hurling well, and also Phelan is also hurling very well at cornerback as well. So, look, Blackwater, as you said, they could be in uncharted territory. You know, last year they made it to a quarter final. I was at that match. They were unlucky to lose to Askamore on that day. The red card, it was 2 yellows, I'm nearly sure, to their fullback, and look, it seemed to cement them. It really brought them together, and they rallied on, winning by a point. So look, Blackwater won't mind only winning by a point, because it gets them another 2 points on the board. It gets them to safety probably now, and look, they'll push on now and try finish as high in the group as they can.
Absolutely. Let's have a look at this third game, another interesting one. This is between, and just to note that Horswood will play Feathered next, and so Feathered involved in this tie. It's Feathered enjoyed a fine victory, 4-17 to 113 over Gussaron. It was a hat-trick for Mikey Dwyer, a goal from John Tubbert as well, but Feathered only led by the minimum at half-time at 9 points to 1-5. Not the result that Gussaron wanted, obviously, so they have a challenging close to this championship with games against Buffers Alley and Blackwater. For Gussaron, Minnie Ryan, Gavin Sheehan, Mark Rossiter and Graham Cullen were on a lot of ball in the game. They worked hard. John Roach got their goal in the first half, and so their scores include Minnie Ryan with 6 frees and a 65, and Mark Rossiter got 3, 2 of those from play, and Gavin Sheehan, Kieran Conway and Adrian Redmond also chipped in with points. This is an interesting one because Feathered lost their first 2 games, as we know, but like we were hearing about this short puck out that wasn't working for them. It could be clicking for them just now.
Yeah, look, it seems to have clicked now for Feathered. 4-17 is a massive scoring club hurling. Gussaron are by no doubt, like, they're not a bad team, so to score 4-17 against them, Gussaron seemed like they were steady in defence, but Mikey Dwyer scoring a hat-trick and a goal also from John Tubbert. I remember the report last week from Blackwater was that Darren Byrne actually done a great job on Mikey Dwyer, and obviously this week Mikey showed what he was made of and got that hat-trick. If Mikey can start clicking for Feathered, you know, the sky's the limit. He's a great hurler, bundles of speed, hard to tackle, he's hard to even get a hold on. So look, Feathered now have that win on the board. They're going to try get that winning momentum going, and look, they might have a say in this championship as it rolls on.
Very good.
Right, Michael?
Right, yeah.
So the predictions for this week, you have Feathered playing Horswood.
I'm going for Feathered there.
Yeah, I'm going to go for Feathered as well. Look, they seem to be really getting going now. 4-17, a massive score. Horswood seem to be struggling just that ever so slightly, so I'm going to go with Feathered on that one as well. Your next match is Gussaron versus Buffers Alley.
Gussaron and the Alley. I'll go for the Alley there.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go for the Alley as well. Now, they could be missing John Farrell because of that red card, but I'm still going to go for the Alley. I think they'll just have a bit too much for Gussaron. And then the last game is Clabon and Blackwater.
Okay. Do you know what? I'm going to go for Blackwater there. There's something about them there.
You're just going to throw
something in the water there. Yeah.
Throw the cat among the pigeons.
Yeah.
Look, it's going to be a tight game, as we see with every match by Blackwater. I said it before, they never get destroyed and they never really beat teams by that much, and the same happened again this weekend. So I'm just going to go for Clabon by the narrowest of margins.
Very good. Dermot, a pleasure as always.
Pleasure.